they're both making progress. I don't know if we'll expect. Is actually not going to be on our team. He's being removed from the roster probably right now or today or yesterday. So don't expect to see Gavin. We obviously wish him well and expect him to transfer here.
So the big news today on January 22nd, 2019 is that Gavin Teasdale, who was once part of the Penn State wrestling team, was expected to be their starter at 125 this season. Not only will he not be starting this season, he's not going to be with Penn State wrestling anymore as a whole. He's not going to be with the team anymore. So this was just announced by Cale Sanderson in the clip that I just played. The story is just coming out right now. There's not a whole ton of information outside of the fact that he's just not going to be on the team anymore, so we don't know if he's considering transferring, if he is going to transfer, where he's going to go, what sorts of schools are looking at him. I don't think that there's going to be an issue for him because he hasn't wrestled yet this year. I'm pretty sure that he still maintains his red shirt. So if he goes somewhere else next season, he would still be able to be a freshman. It's not like he's burning his freshman eligibility right now. So the questions that obviously come up right now is what happened at Penn State? Why is he not there anymore? And then what's next for Gavin? Right now, there's not a ton of information that's out publicly, and it's probably not best to speculate too much on it. So outside of there being some questions about was it a weight cut issue or was it maybe a grades issue, I'm not sure what else it could possibly be. Obviously, he had the issue in the first half of the season where he said that he was leaving the team in mid-November and saying that he just kind of needed to take some time. It wasn't clear if that was like an injury or what the issue was. Obviously, wrestlers get injured all the time. They don't leave the team. So there's probably something a little bit deeper than just an injury at that point. And then obviously with him now leaving the team for good at this point in January of 2019, it seems like there's something deeper that's underlying the issues here, whether it's grades, whether maybe it's just an attitude thing. Who really knows? I wouldn't hold the fact that he had committed to Iowa and then left Iowa against him. I don't think that those two things are related. I think the issue with Iowa is that he just committed very early and he hadn't fully signed. Iowa. It was just an early commitment. I think he was a sophomore in high school when he made the commitment to Iowa. So he got more information later on. Cale kept recruiting him, and he felt that as he was finishing up his high school career that he would be better off in college at Penn State than he would be at Iowa. So he decided to shift his commitment from Iowa to Penn State. Obviously, Penn State isn't working out for him. It's not going to be the best place for him. So as far as where he goes from here, one of the questions that I think a lot of Iowa fans have, and a question that I have because I am an Iowa fan, is does he go back to Iowa? We saw with Jason Renteria that he had decommitted from Iowa. Actually, after Gavin Teasdale had committed, then kind of bounced around. I believe he was with the University of Illinois. Actually, no, he was with Nebraska. Didn't work out with Nebraska last year, and I think he might have been with Illinois for a short period of time before deciding, or I might be thinking of Mejia or Justin Mejia right now. But either way, with Renteria, he was with Iowa, backed out, went elsewhere, and then decided to come back to Iowa after transferring back. So it'd be interesting to see if Teasdale does the same. One of the things you would think of as far as Teasdale going back to Iowa is that at 125, Spencer Lee has that position settled. At 133, Austin DeSanto is now number 4 in the country, so it doesn't look like there'd be any need for them to bring in another 33-pounder. You'd figure that logic probably still applied last year, though, when Renteria decided to transfer back to Iowa. That 133 wasn't a great option for him, and even if he's big for 33, I believe he actually missed weight at nationals at 33. So even if he's a 141-pounder, Max Marin is a guy who's a freshman right now who is ranked, I believe he's ranked 15 right now, but he has a high ceiling where he could potentially work his way into All-American status, if not with a great tournament this year, possibly next year and moving forward. So there's not a ton of opportunity there, but that didn't seem to stop Renteria. It'll be interesting to see if Teasdale thinks the same way, and maybe what drew him to Iowa in the first place draws him back and he wants the competition. He thinks he has a chance to crack in that lineup. So that'll be interesting to see. Outside of that, for him, if it is an issue of academics, I think that takes away a lot of some of the schools like Princeton. Obviously, if you can't make it at Penn State, you're not going to make it at Princeton. Northwestern's probably going to be tough for him to get to, so some of those schools might not be options for him. But there are a lot of schools in the Big Ten who could use a guy like him either at 25 or 33. There are other power schools that could use a guy like him. So if he decides to go within the conference, him being a Pennsylvania guy, I guess for Pennsylvania, the most obvious thing to look at would probably be Pitt right now, who has Mickey Philippi at 133. If Teasdale can make 125 and the weight cut wasn't the issue, it'd be interesting to see him at Pitt. He'd stay in state, and between Philippi and Teasdale, there'll be a pretty good 1-2 punch there for Pitt, who seems to be an upstart program right now that's working their way back into relevance again. being that they're located perfectly in Pennsylvania, who's doing great in high school wrestling. And for a while, they haven't had great teams, but it looks like they're starting to gain some momentum. So that'd be a big one for them. But for the Big Ten, Indiana looks like they're trying to work their way back up with Escobedo at the helm now, so that could be an option for them. Illinois, he could probably make the lineup there at 25 or 33. So there are definitely options within the Big Ten for him. There are a lot of big wrestling options for him, and with him just being a freshman, I'm sure there are a lot of big schools that are going to be willing to take a risk on him because he was such a highly touted prospect. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there. So what I'm curious to know is, what do you guys think would be a good place for Gavin Teasdale to go now that he's no longer with Penn State? I wouldn't really ask too much on what you would speculate. If you actually know something, then go ahead and comment below and let me know what you've heard about Gavin Teasdale. But if it's just speculation, I don't know that's all that useful. If you like this video, go ahead and click the like button. You can also subscribe. And if you don't like the video, then there's also that button pointing downward there for you too.